Looking to transform your family game nights? At Perfectly Picked Games, we specialize in family games that bring everyone closer. Our games aren't just fun. Kids and teens will learn how to take turns, develop basic strategy skills, and understand the thrill of winning and grace of losing. With our exclusive gift of games, you can give months of gaming excitement to your family. Choose a 3-month or 6-month gift, and we'll deliver hand-picked family games to your doorstep every month. And here's the best part. Right now, you can use the promo code GOLDENMOJO and receive 20% off your selected plan. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Use promo code GOLDENMOJO and save 20% today at Perfectly Picked Games.
Hello, all you paranormal freaks. It's the last Saturday of the month, and you know what that means. The veil is at its thinnest. So if you're brave enough, all of you hitchers and drifters, load up for a ride with Golden Jay and Logan as they traverse to the other side.
Welcome back, all you hitchers and drifters, the United States of Paranormal podcast, your weekly road trip through all things cryptid, creepy, and paranormal. And it is me, your co-host and future ghost, Just Logan, and I have what's the word I'm looking for? The opportunity and pleasure to record with one Francis Viva Las Vegas, or as you might know him, Frankie Vegas.
Hey.
What's up, Frankie?
Hey, not much. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just doing some editing on my computer and whatnot. How was you had a graduation tonight? Is what you had going on?
My granddaughter had her preschool graduation tonight.
Nice.
3 and 4-year-old. So real exciting. Musical numbers and.
Tell me all about that. I've got a first grader and then I've got a pre-K right now, so it's all coming.
Oh yeah.
We've been there, done that.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Love being there for her, so,
For
won't miss
you
anything.
Out there that are not familiar with Frankie Vegas, Frankie is from the Golden 80s podcast with Golden Jay, where they every week go through something from the greatest decade ever, the 80s, and they discuss it, and that drops on Thursdays.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, because I listened to the new episode today.
Yeah.
You guys just covered for some reason I want to say Benny and the Jets, but it's not Benny and Jets. It's
Benny and the Jets.
It's
no.
What the fuck is
Try
the name
Eddie
of
and
it?
the Cruisers.
Eddie and the Cruisers. Last week was part 1, and this was part 2.
Yes.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
I've never seen it. I will definitely check it out. I mean, I checked out the god awful album you guys covered.
Oh, Vital Idol.
Vital Idol. Man,
Yeah,
I think there was like one half-ass decent song.
Yeah, probably called Moni Moni. I'm probably the only one that was even...
But like some of the stuff he did, like the first 3 minutes of song, it's like it's fine. And then it gets like 4 and 5 and he starts yelling like random shit into the track. And like nobody ever told him like, hey, this is how club music works. And he was like, so I just shout random shit, and they're like, no, but we're not going to tell Billy Idol what to do.
No, you're Billy Idol. You do whatever the hell you want.
Somebody should have told Billy what to do on that one.
Well, somebody should have.
It was bad.
Didn't.
I think the worst one was the wedding. The wedding one was it was horrible.
But he kept re-releasing it, so it must have been doing something right, or I don't really know why.
We just got to face the facts that Billy Idol was just tired of being at clubs and not hearing his music at all.
Yeah. So
he wanted something out there so he could be like, this is me.
Yeah. Hey, but it sold a lot of albums, so somebody liked it. Not me, but somebody.
I mean, there was a lot more. There was a lot more drug usage in the 80s, so different kind of drugs in the 80s. So maybe it was more enjoyable on one of those.
I can't comment, but yeah, possibly. That's possibly because I actually bought the album, so I must have liked it at the time. But,
no, you own that album?
I did. I got the '87 version. I don't remember it being that bad, but I don't know what my brain was on at the time. It's the '80s. I don't remember it too well.
That's fair.
But it's all right.
So
are you ready
is,
to do this interview?
I'm absolutely ready. I've been waiting
ready?
for this. This is the
You've been
last
waiting.
part of the two-sop interview segment, and I finally get grilled myself. So I'm pretty stoked to see what you got for me, Frankie.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep it simple. I know I joked about trying to make you cry like Barbara Walters and stuff, but I don't really want to do that.
Oh, you're all right.
That's
so take it away, Frankie. It's all you. This is your show.
All right. Well, let's just start from the beginning. Let's talk about your childhood and then going to Germany. Tell us a little bit about your childhood, what that was like growing up,
All right.
and then going to Germany, what that was like.
Well, I was born in Plymouth. I didn't find that out until I moved back to Plymouth as an adult, and I worked at the Radio Shack out there in Plymouth. And I can't remember what I needed my birth certificate for, but I called my mom and I was like, do you have it? And she's like, somewhere, I don't know, just go to the hospital and get it. And I was like, I don't know where I was born. And she was like, in Plymouth. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm in Plymouth. So I went and got that. But I grew up in Atwood, very small town, like the definition of small town. I had less than 8 kids in my 4th grade class before we left.
Oh, wow.
It sounds scary, but I used to walk to school. It's right there. We lived right there. And Atwood School looks like an airplane hangar. It's got that big, weird dome for the gym. And like I said, it sounds sketchy nowadays, but I was like, the janitor Bob over there was my best friend. Hey. Like he was a nice dude, and he watched after me from like when I was in kindergarten. So when I left, I would just hang out with him and the lunch ladies. And I tell you what, being tight with the lunch ladies pays off, man. Pizza day, you get all the square pizza you want. I like the potato soup they made. They'd give me extra helpings. You're just getting tight with the lunch lady and the janitors.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, I actually went to Atwood myself the last half of 6th grade, and that was a creepy ass school. It really was.
Did you ever go to the bathroom in the basement?
I don't think I ever. No, I don't think I went down there.
They would when you were the art room and the music room were right there by the gym.
Yeah.
And if you needed to go to the bathroom in one of those classes, they'd be like, okay, you're not going all the way down the hallway to use that one. Go use the boiler room bathroom is what they'd call it. Because they had a boiler down there. And you'd have to walk down these cricky ass wooden stairs, and there's just like a 1-room bathroom down there. And the boiler's making all sorts of noises. I mean, it looks like something out of a Freddy Krueger movie.
Oh man. No.
The playground was huge. And I think the only thing left of that playground was the big tractor tires they stuck in the dirt for kids to jump tire to tire to, because that flew back in the day. They wouldn't let you do that now.
No.
Nobody ever got hurt on the tires, but we had a girl was on the monkey bars, and Atwood had just like loose gravel as like it was like pebbles for the playground. And she fell while she was upside down, and she busted out almost all of her chiclets in her mouth.
Oh, damn.
And they were out there trying to find her teeth, but it's in a giant pile of gravel. So, I mean, it's easier said than done.
Oh, my goodness.
That was back in the day when they let you climb ropes in PE, too. Like, no safety, nothing. Like, it's just like, here's the rope. It goes all the way to the roof. And like I said, that was a big-ass roof.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, you get all the way to the top, you hit that bell. The coach would buy you a soda out of the soda machine.
No,
I mean,
I couldn't even get halfway up. So
I only did it once. I only managed to do it once. And there was 2 ropes. There was the regular rope, and then there was the like pain in the ass rope that had like these big beads on it. And if you stepped on the bead, it would slide down. I couldn't fuck with that one. But like, Atwood was my favorite school experience I had. It was small. You knew everybody. I also, growing up in Atwood was nice because, like, we had Doozies for the longest time. It closed down before we left, which Doozies had a Popeye arcade machine. They had big wheels that you could ride around in there. The dude that ran that place was so nice, and they had the best flatbread, like, little pizzas ever.
Yeah, I'd never been there, but I knew where it was, but...
You missed out, man.
Yeah.
There used to be a little cafe in... and Jeremy might know what it was called, but there was like this little cafe in Atwood also that ran for a while and shut down before we left. Well, I mean, almost everything in Atwood shut down. The convenience store that I used to go to shut down just before we left, and it turned into like a pet store and then like a tattoo shop. And now Jeremy's dad used to be a co-owner of it.
Yeah.
But I think that was before I was born. I was born in 91, so.
Yeah, there's not much in Atwood now, I don't think. Like a post office, a church, maybe.
Yeah, I think they turned the school into a church shortly after we moved.
Yeah. I did like that gym, though.
It's a great looking gym.
Oh, yeah, I love playing basketball in there.
It is, I don't know where the fuck it's sitting, but I was just messing with it the other day. I have still Atwood's Greyhound beer koozie and a hat that I've held onto this whole time from there.
Oh, nice.
I grew up, like I said, I grew up in Atwood. I had 2 next door neighbors. One was like Mr. Rogers, basically, like, or he kind of reminded me of like Mr. Rogers mixed with Ned Flanders and what was the guy from Home Improvement?
Wilson.
All 3 of them mushed together, and like he had the mustache. He was a painter, and he would look over our chain link fence and he would go, "Howdy ho, neighbors." Like, I shit you not. Jeremy can attest to it. He's met Gordon. And like as a kid, I was like, this guy's always happy. And like he was a new divorcee. So his kids were only there like every other weekend. But like every time I was over at his house, I was like, he has like all the greatest snacks here. He's got like the Lion King popsicles with the gummies inside of it. He has Lunchables just stacked up in there. And I'm like, his kids aren't here that often, but he's just like stacked to the gills. Well, I find out as an adult that he was like the weed outlet in Atwood. So I was like, as an adult, I'm like, that fucking makes sense. Those popsicles and Lunchables weren't for his kids.
Yeah.
They're for him.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking nowadays he'd be put on a watch list.
Yeah, like I said, Gordon was a cool dude. He was just he was just like overly, like really, really friendly. And then my other next door neighbor was my first best friend I made in Atwood, Charlie, and his mom was a stripper. So like, so he was unattended.
Nodding his head.
Yeah, he was unattended a lot. So like, my parents were like right up my ass. Like I wasn't allowed to run around and do whatever I wanted to, but he could do whatever. And his mom had that stripper money, so he had the coolest toys. So he wasn't that smart. God bless Charlie. He was not that smart. So he'd come up to my window when I'd be grounded and not allowed to go outside, and I would trade him toys through the screen. I'd pop the screen out and be like, listen, I will give you this little shitty plastic lizard. You give me that Megazord, because my dad doesn't buy me Power Ranger stuff because he says it's gay. So all the good toys I had were from either lifting them from kids at Atwood or trading Charlie.
Yeah, hey.
You gotta do
whatever works. Whatever
I was a
works.
grifter. But like I said, I really enjoyed being in Atwood, especially with my family there. Jeremy and Bobbi. I got to grow up with my cousins, and it was a really tight knit group. Scotty T, the Dones, all of them. And then 9/11 happened, and my dad and my mother. I always forget my mom served, but she served before I was born too. They both served before. But 9/11 happened, and my dad re-enlisted because he felt like he needed to be in combat because his father was in combat, his grandfather, et cetera, et cetera. So as soon as 9/11 happened, he re-enlisted, and like it was quick. Like we went from not knowing we were moving to like we're moving, pack our stuff, sell the house, and we sold our house with our dog. We had a Rottweiler named Zeus, and he sold with the house. We couldn't bring him with us, and the people that bought the house kept him.
That's
had a rehouse, a hedgehog, blue and gold macaw, a bunch of other birds, a snake, like quick. And next thing we knew, we were overseas, which was trippy as shit because I went from having 2 neighbors that I associated with to living in a giant apartment complex that's on a hill. With, I mean, one building would have 2 doors on them, but each door would lead you to 2, 4, 6, 8 apartments, 4 stories high. So 16 houses per apartment building, and there was probably 20 of those buildings.
Okay.
Shit ton of people. And it was on a hill, so it would be like 3 of those buildings, and then 3 more of those buildings, and then 2 playgrounds on each side, all the way down. So like there's like 8 playgrounds in this complex. We ended up getting a skate park. There was a PX and a commissary, which is just like a convenience store and a grocery store.
Okay.
And this is all in a giant cage because, you know, you can't let anybody that's not American into this thing. It was trippy because it went from like my parents being like, you don't run off and do whatever the hell you want, to as soon as the sun went up, it's like, I don't care where the fuck you are, just go on, get. So we just run around this apartment complex all day long, throughout the night, and basically do whatever. And we also had access to a base bus that would take you to other bases. We weren't supposed to, but we would get on it and go to another base and hang out with people there and then go back. And this is all before I'm 13, because I didn't turn 13 until the day I moved to Texas. So it was a wild experience. I wish I was older, because I would have enjoyed it more. I went there with a chip on my shoulder, because I was mad that I left my cousins, my friends, and everything. But I wish I was a little bit older to enjoy it more, because it was a great experience. I got to live closer to my grandfather because he was retired military, but his wife, my step-grandma, she was a military principal for a school. So they were still living overseas off base. So that's how I got close with my grandpa. I spent like every vacation I had, or summer or winter break, I would go over there with him by myself. And that's where our relationship built up. And then when we left, he moved here to Texas to be closer to us. So that's the closest relationship I have family-wise, like currently on my father's side. Is me and my grandpa are super tight. I'm the only grandkid that calls him. I call him weekly, and we just talk about what's going on and whatnot. I recommend it. Every base that I knew while I was over there is closed now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of the bases in Germany got shut down and released back to the Germans and everything out there. So I was in Bad Nauheim, Gießen. I don't know if Freiburg closed. Freiburg is where Elvis Presley was stationed when he was over there.
Oh,
so maybe we held on to that as a landmark. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that was Indiana and Germany. And then I spent the rest of the time here in Texas, and then a short bit back in Indiana, where I lived with Jeremy, and then I lived in a creepy ass old plantation house in Warsaw with so that was trippy too. Dirt floor basement that you could see right through this old ass building. Like you just look through your floorboards and see right into the basement. And let me tell you what, it was cold as shit during the winter.
Oh, I bet. Now, do you have any of your friends from Germany that you're still in contact with, or?
Oh man, honestly, those, I have more people that I'm in contact with, like I have on Facebook from Atwood, than I do Germany, because it is hard as shit to keep track of military brats, especially ones whose parents stayed in the service. Because when we left Germany, the internet was there, but there was no MySpace or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
And like your friends were leaving constantly, because at the minimum, their parents were doing a 3-year serve. Like they're in there for 3 years minimum. So you move there and you're like, oh, like literally when I got there, I was like, oh, I made 2 new friends in less than 2 months of being there. Both those fuckers were gone. They were just oh, time for me to go. So it's a trippy experience, because like you're like, these are my friends, but like more often than not, you're not. It's not like being a civilian. It's like you're probably not gonna graduate with a single one of these kids. You'll be lucky if you go 2 years with them. I was there for 5th grade, 6th grade, and 7th. And I was the last of the Mohicans when I hit my 7th grade year. Like all of my homies that I was tight with were all gone. They either transferred to other bases in Germany or went back to the United States. Unfortunately, I did have a few friends whose fathers and mothers did not make it back from Iraq, and when that happens, they also have to leave the base.
Yeah.
So on that part of military living, I don't recommend. It's a little rough on a kid.
That would be hard.
So, but there's a few that I'm in track of, but like the ones I really want to find, I never could because they had weird ass last names. Like I had a buddy that was born in Brooklyn, New York, and his name was David McGugan, and I don't know how the fuck to spell McGugan, so I ain't ever gonna find him. He was a cool dude though.
Well, hey buddy, if you're listening,
that would be some weird shit. I have some shout out to Lance. That's one of my classmates from Atwood. One more fun fact before we get out of the Atwood thing. I got duped. I have a May 21st birthday, which is weird for anybody that's a parent out there knows that's a weird birthday for getting a kid into school because it's right at the ass end of summer or the beginning of summer. So the kid could go either way. I was struggling in school pretty hard. And by the time I got to 3rd grade, and those rat bastards tricked me into willingly going back to 2nd grade. They knew with my attention span and the fact that I fucking hated school, they walked in there and they're like, how would you like to go to 2nd grade? And I was like, pfft. And I was like, wait, what are they doing right now? And they're like, they're in the computer lab. And I was like, fucking sign me up. Let's go. And the moment computer lab was done, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to go back. And they're like, no, this is it, motherfucker. You're in this class now. And like I said, my buddy earlier, Charlie, had a fucking mental breakdown. Like this kid, if he's listening, like I said, God bless you, Charlie. But like this kid was so attached to me that my last day at Atwood School, he threw such a shit fit that they pulled him out of 5th grade and let him stay with me the whole day in 4th grade. Because he was coming that unglued. And there's a video of that last day. And on my last day in Atwood, they still put me on the wall at recess because I fucked up. And they videotaped it, so my mom got to see it. It's because, it was fucking bad. There's this kid named Roberto, and me and him got into it, and I hit him in the fucking mouth, and they put me on the fucking wall, and they said why I was on the wall in that videotape, and I got screwed. It was bad. I was even in the videotape going like, don't film this! Don't film this! What are you doing?
No pictures.
Yeah, but so...
That's funny. All right, let's get into why a lot of people tune into for the paranormal. So what started your paranormal interest, and what was like your first experience with paranormal?
It's definitely a big part of it is definitely going to go to my mom and her father, because her father would tell this fucking story all the time about aliens. He told a story about him and his buddies being in a car and these lights, and he would tell me all sorts of what I'm assuming are bullshit stories just to tell a kid. And on top of that, my mom's a huge horror buff and into all that stuff. And so I would watch, I call it hallway television, because the way our house was built, like my room, there was this long ass hallway that would go right in front of the TV, and my room was right around the corner. So I would stick my eyes right out to the corner of it to watch TV at night when I'm not supposed to. So I would watch all the horror movies that she wouldn't watch while I was up. So I'd be watching like April Fool's Day, Puppet Master, The Haunting, like shit like that. I think she's always been a believer, and it just kind of rubbed off on me. But I definitely had some experiences, and I've briefly talked on them before. Like little ones I had as a kid. Now I had as an adult, 18 and up, like I was a young adult, I had an experience that I've never really talked about because it was a really negative experience for me. And a lot of people in paranormal words like, don't talk about it, don't lean into it, don't give it energy, and it'll kind of fuck off. And that's where I'm kind of at with that.
Okay. But
as a child, I definitely had 2 experiences that I remember in that house that really put me into the paranormal. And I swear to God, in Mauriceville, Texas, I saw some kind of fucking cryptid, and I swear on my children on this one. We lived right by the railroad track. I've always lived by railroad tracks. And my sister's having a birthday party, and there is a girl there that was scary as sin, and I just always referred to her as Goth Shannon. And I was like, I mean, she was gothed out to the max, like jet black hair, the big ass chain pants, like all that shit. And she was mean as fuck. And I pissed her off. And she was like, I'm gonna kick you in the nuts. And she come running at me. So I go running out the garage, and I'm down the railroad tracks in the middle of the night. I'm just running, and she's right behind me. And like I said, she wants to kick me in my junk. So like, I'm going. And I swear, while I'm running down these tracks, I see these bright red eyes that are at like track level. I'm like, okay, raccoon or something. And as I'm running, these eyes get higher and higher up to where like I feel like I'm looking like up. And at that point, I'm like, nope, fuck it. And I start running towards the fucking homicidal goth girl instead. And like I said, she's after my fucking knackers. So you know I've got to be scared because I'm risking getting... And she's got those big, stupid fucking goth boots on, too. So I just go buzzing past her. And I was like, no, fuck that. And I get back there, and everybody's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I was like, there's something fucking out there. I don't know if it's the fucking Parlingua or Bigfoot or what the fuck. But I'm not going back out there. And I stayed off those tracks the night after that. So I firmly believe in the paranormal. 112%.
Yeah. That would scare the hell out of me. I don't know if I'd be more scared of the cryptid or the goth girl.
You know, either or, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into one of the fun ones that I know you've asked all the other hosts, Tusop. What's your favorite snack?
Ooh. You know, I'm just going to go with, the tried and true on that one. I'm going to go with Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I was alive when those things got like introduced, and like I would eat them I eat them less now, but it's my favorite. It's still my favorite late night snack. Like I'll be in bed, and fortunately enough, my life partner is also as trashy of a human as I am, so we'll eat chips in bed, and we'll just kind of try to dust them off at night, you know. But I'm gonna go Flamin' Hot Cheetos, man. And when I was young and I'd watch like reruns of Friends in my room and eat that, I'd leave the bag open on purpose because I was like, a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos that's aired out overnight, so much better the next day. Just the one night though. You can't leave it open 2 nights or it's toast.
Ah.
It's definitely Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I'm not too ashamed to say that, unlike my aunt who was like, I retract Cheetos. I retract it. I don't know why I said it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Cheetos. I don't do the Flamin' Hot, but a regular Cheeto.
Nothing wrong with a good Cheeto.
Not
Don't give me the puffy ones, though. I ain't about that shit. It gets all stuck in my teeth. I just want the crunchy ones. That's it for me.
Crunchy, puffy, they're all good. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, you've got this unhealthy love for the Power Rangers.
It isn't unhealthy. It is definitely unhealthy for my wallet.
But yeah, I just thought, I know you've got a lot of different things that you do with the Power Rangers. Just thought I'd let you, give you a platform to stand on, and let you talk a little bit about that. I know you have a thing because of Jason David Frank suicide. You got a little thing you got with that. I thought I'd let you talk about that a little bit.
Well, it all started, and this hit me the other day talking to ISO, and I do a stream, and he was in the stream, and he asked me when we were watching an episode of Power Rangers in the stream. He's like, when did this air? And I was like, 2002, and he was like, I was born that year, and I was like, holy shit. Like, you're young, but I was born. I was lucky enough to be alive when Power Rangers hit, so it was like this huge phenomena. In the main highway in California, they did a live show at I think maybe Universal Studios where they brought the actors in and everything. That show sold out and was so busy that they literally shut down the highway in California. Like, it was so backed up with people trying to go see the Power Rangers and take their kids to see that. Now, I had to, children of the 90s and before the 90s, we didn't have access to whatever the fuck we wanted to watch when we wanted to watch it. So if you wanted to watch Power Rangers, you wake your ass up on a Saturday morning and you'll watch Fox Kids. You go to your local affiliate, you watch Fox. They had a line of cartoons. If you overslept, you're kicking yourself in the ass for a week because you're like, now I'll never know what the fuck happened. Because they weren't doing reruns. It was just like, it was a block of television on Saturdays. That's how we soaked up our cartoons, our Power Rangers, etc., etc. But I was hooked from the start. It was dinosaurs, people in bright colors, robots. Fucking checked all 3 boxes for me. Unfortunately, I grew up, my dad, big military dude that loves cars and working on stuff and all that, just was watching his son watch a bunch of people jump around in fucking bright colored leotards and was like, this is fucking stupid. So I didn't have a lot of Power Rangers at all. What I did have came from Charlie, fortunately. But I never stopped watching it. I watched it as a young teenager, and et cetera, et cetera. It's based on a show in Japan called Super Sentai that is 2 years away from hitting its 50th anniversary. Like they've had 50 different seasons of the show. Like it's nonstop. Power Rangers hit its, I want to say, 30th anniversary this year. So there's been over 30 seasons of Power Rangers in America. So it's a long running.
Oh yeah.
What they do is they adapt the footage from Japan where the people are in the suits and stuff, and then they just edit in Americans when they're not morphed, talking and doing whatever. So it saved the guy Saban shit tons of money. He was like, listen, I just take this shit, splice in some American actors, and make all the money, and he sure shit did. So, but I was always obsessed with it, and then I just wanted to do my own thing. The helmet that's right here is my own design. Same with the one down there. And I started this community for Wild Force New Frontier. We're about at 14K followers on Instagram. I've interviewed actual actors in the show. And then I run a second page, which is Ranger Reach Out. And that's because, unfortunately, a while back, the Ranger that everybody loves the most, the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, Tommy, Jason David Frank, took his own life. And we were doing TUSOP when that happened. We were in the first year of TUSOP. And I wake up and I get on my Instagram, and like it's normal to see pictures of Tommy on there because, like I said, he's the most famous Ranger. And then like I'm sitting in the kitchen, I'm cooking, and then Kayla walks out and she was like, did you see that Power Ranger died? And I was like, what Power Ranger? And then I was like, oh fuck, that was a lot of pictures of the Green Ranger on there. And I spent the next 2 days watching a whole community come unraveled. Because like this dude, like there would be videos when we were kids popping up, this guy teaching us, like it would be like a little PSA of him being like, if you want to do martial arts, the first thing you have to do is be in control of your mind, and like teaching you that bullying's not okay and drugs isn't okay. Like you grew up with this guy, and all of a sudden he's just gone. And I was watching a community come like hardcore unraveled, and I was like, it was bugging me too. And I was like, what? Well, now I've got to be able to do something about this. So like I got with my artist buddy Mighty, and we made up some art, and then we got this page up and running. And the whole objective of this page was to make people understand that there are places to reach out. You can call and nowadays text. You don't even have to call. You can call or text 988. And there is the suicide prevention hotline. It's a mental health crisis center. So we wanted to make sure everybody knew that was out there. And then on top of that, we have international crisis centers. So if you're not in the United States, you're in Germany, Mexico, Canada, we'd have all that stuff posted up. And for that first half a year after he died, we were there daily posting just like stuff, be like, hey, check this out. Just kind of keep people's mind off of it, but be like, if you know somebody's struggling, or if you're struggling, do not be afraid to reach out. You can reach out to us. We put up a Discord, so there was other people you could reach out to, or call these numbers and stuff. And I just wanted to help. I knew I was bummed, but I was seeing so many people that were way worse off, and I was like, there's got to be something. And I ended up getting some really nice stuff out of it. I can actually reach over here real quick, get it out. I got sent this Green Ranger coin that actually on the back has the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention on it that they made up, and they sent it to me.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Like I said, it was. I wanted to. I wasn't expecting to blow up the way it did, but I was just trying to help people, and it got like crazy to where I started having to get other people to hop in there and help me out because I was like, I can't deal with it all coming in all at once. But yeah, I will love Power Rangers forever. My main thing is hopefully I live long enough, just long enough to see the 100th season of Super Sentai. I think I have to be 87 to make it to that. Oh, wow. So we'll see. My grandpa's still alive and kicking, and he's going to be 81 this year. So
hey, there you go.
Fingers crossed. And I live a little bit healthier than him. So
now you're doing a panel, aren't you, in California?
Yeah,
like
I'm going to Power Morphicon, which is once every 2 years. And is the biggest Power Ranger convention in the world. And I will be going out there. I'm a sponsor now of one of the actors from the Wild Force season that I like. So I will get to hang out with him. I'm going to have my own table. I'm going to be doing a panel. Hopefully all that pans out. So it's going to be my first time in California. And another thing on my bucket list is I got Big Boy tattooed right here on me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to go to the oldest Big Boy in the United States of America. It is in the same city that I fly into. So once I get out of that airport, I'm going right over to fucking Big Boy. Hey. Getting me a burger and some strawberry pie and probably an unhealthy amount of merchandise.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But yeah, that's me and Power Rangers. Like I said, that's what I do daily. If I could do that as a main job, I'd do it. Or this. I love podcasting too. Yeah. I like my uncle. I can't shut the fuck up. So.
Well, you know. Okay, so let's go on to my next question. And these questions I just put them down. I didn't do a specific order or anything. So the next one was, what's your biggest regret in life? Ooh. This is mine. I'm going to try to make you cry.
My biggest regret in life is being a dick. I've talked about it. I've talked about it briefly before, but like I spent a huge chunk of my life until I got with Kayla, who's everybody knows Kayla. Just having a massive fucking chip on my shoulder. I've been in so many, a lot of stuff. It's hard to get in. It's hard to explain. Everybody knows me as the nerd. Like I'm a nerd dude. I like comic books. I literally, when I picked out my backpack for school, I made sure two things. It could fit a bunch of comics and that it had a cushiony back so I could fucking sleep on it in class. Those are the two things I needed in a backpack. I have Lake Calperthes disease. So if you are around me, you'll notice I walk with a limp because I've got basically my hip bone and my left side and a few other bones are dead. So I walk with a permanent limp. So nerd and permanent limp, people tend to fuck with you. And I grew up with the father I grew up with, and he was like, if people fuck with you, there's one thing that my dad has always said is like he fucking hates bullies. So if you see somebody getting bullied or you're getting bullied, fucking deal with it. So I've been in way too many fucking fights from youth to adult. This is the longest I've gone without hitting anybody since I've been with Kayla. And like our first few months, the last person I hit was a UPS worker. To be fair, he said something uncolorful. So after I clocked him, he was like, "You don't mention this in my work and I won't call the cops." And I was like, we're good here then. But I just grew up with a big chip on my shoulder. Me and my dad are getting better now, but unfortunately, like I said, he's a tough guy that doesn't really like anything I liked. So I just had that. And on top of people fucking with me, at least I'd let people fuck with me once. And then after that, like I said, it was a fight, unless it was a chick, Yeah. They get away with it. And that hurts way worse than a dude making fun of you, I promise.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I had this big problem with, like, I didn't like being told what to do by my parents or anybody. I didn't pay attention in school. And like I said, I was a dick. If I didn't like you, I made sure you knew it. And I was a horrible boyfriend or significant other up until this relationship. we're about to be together for 5 years, this longest relationship I've ever been in. But like, I always put my friends first, and I liked my personal space. So like, being my significant other was, I imagine, really hard. And I feel sorry for the people that put up with me for however long they did. I hope they're all happier now. But I was an asshole, and I can see that now. And I'm definitely a lot better, and that's thanks to being with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the right person helps shape you into, doesn't make you something different. They help guide you into it. You make that choice yourself because you want to be a better version of you for the person you're with. And that's
Absolutely.
what it took. So I got with Kayla. I think I'm the best version of me that I've ever been. I'm still a dick. I'm just not maximum level dick.
Yeah.
So
Yo, I
that's
feel
bigger regret.
I feel 100% what you were saying, because if I didn't know any better, I would swear to God you were my son.
I take it. I take it, Frankie.
Hey man, you just like everything you said about yourself I was that way when I was young. And my wife, changed me completely. And Jeremy knows my wife, so he can tell you I'm not gonna fuck with her.
Smart.
At all. Because she'd kill me. But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. 100%. So let's go to something positive. What was your proudest moment?
Oh, I want to go generic and say something about my kids, but they're still at that level to where they're constantly doing stupid shit. It don't
get any better.
That's tough. Proudest moment. See, I can name what I don't like instantly, but you go to proudest moment, I'm fucking struggling. Honestly, weirdly enough, it would probably be the first time that my parents talked to me about a Two-Sop episode. Because my parents really never get involved with like the stuff I'm doing, because like I said, it's Power Rangers or this or that, and it was just like they got invested into what I was doing, and I just I'm gonna just say Two-Sop in general is probably it, as far as, because we just did it because it was just something I wanted to do, and I didn't think it was going to be a big thing or whatnot. And I don't think any of us were ready for it to blow up the way it did. Our first live show blew my mind. Like, we were at a brewery, and we had a good crowd, and they were all responsive. It went for like 3 hours, I think. Yeah. And my mom came. My dad couldn't make that one because he was offshore, but like, they supported it and they talked about it. Hell, their RV is wrapped with some of our art from it.
Oh, nice.
So I'd probably say that it was crazy to watch it start where it was, and just like get, like, we ended up I think our highest rating on we ended up at the number 55 slot in a documentary podcast in the United States for Apple Podcast. And when I saw that, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And I was like, also, this has to piss off like serious documentary podcasts that are like talking about the Civil War and shit. And then they got a podcast that's talking about like anal tuberculosis and fucking ghost at number 55. I mean, if I was in that documentary series, I'd be fucking pissed.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
I'd probably say that. And also, it's something I always wanted to do, was work with my uncle. Because I wasn't around there when they did the radio stations and all that jazz. So, like I said, I would say Two-Sop, probably.
Cool. All right, I'm going to go to the question that I was told I had to ask.
Oh, let's fucking get it.
What would be your last meal?
Y'all thought J-Dub's last meal was fucking long. You just fucking buckle up, listeners.
Here we go.
Because I've got this planned out. And I planned it out. I got breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. So just sit down and buckle up, and we'll get to reading here. First of all, it's going to be my breakfast, which is going to start with Granny's peanut butter and jelly. My granny used to take peanut butter and jelly and heat it up in a pot, mix it together, and throw it on 2 pieces of toast. It's fucking delicious. That's in there. Then I'm going to go with my dad's specialty growing up, which was a strawberry frosted Pop-Tart, heated up in the toaster and then smothered a shit ton of butter on it. That's just childhood. right there. So if I'm going out, I'm going out with that. Biscuits and gravy, because you can't beat biscuits and gravy. A bowl of Fruity Pebbles with orange juice with extra pulp, and that would be my breakfast.
Okay.
And I say breakfast weird. People talk shit on me all the time for that, so buckle up for that. Lunch, there was this little, at the edge of our military base, you'd have to walk out and you go down there, and there's this little tiny gyros place. And they made what was called a Turkish pizza, which is not what you would think. You'd think pizza like it's a big circle and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They took the gyros meat and added extra seasoning and some red pepper flakes and the sauce and everything. They roll up in basically what was like a tortilla. And that and their French fries they had with the mayo, fucking delicious. So that's my first part of my lunch. Garlic soup, which is a thing they served overseas too, which is it's literally what you think it is. It's just soup that tastes like garlic. It's great. You gotta try it. My mom's egg rolls. It's like one of the few things that she cooks and just fucking nobody's better. She makes these egg. You can ask Jeremy about that. You just look at him right now and make eye contact with him. Yeah. She makes these egg rolls that are fucking delicious. And she went through this weird thing where she didn't want to fry them anymore and she started baking them. No baked egg rolls. They got to be fried. They're fucking delicious. I would have volcano taco. I'd have Taco Bell bring that back for me before I left this world. And 2 turnt tea. That's my lunch. I love these things. Dinner, I'd get Packy Mao fried rice from this place that's called Hole in Wall here. It's extra spicy and $2 worth of extra chicken. Worth it. It's delicious. The buffalo chicken waffle fries from Wreckin' Jack's. It's another place that's locally. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a stack of waffle fries with buffalo fried chicken on top of it and beer cheese and jalapeno ranch. Every time you eat it, it shaves a year off your life, but it's worth it. I've eaten it 3 Saturdays in a row.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even playing with you. Let's see here. 3-piece chicken, fried piece of chicken with rice and gravy, extra gravy from Big John's, which is this restaurant that's by my work that's only takes cash and has been running since the late 60s. And I mean, this dude, Big John, he's just this old guy that he looks like the Crypt Keeper at this point, but that man can fry some fucking chicken. Holy shit. Chicago deep dish pepperoni and smoked bacon pizza, because that is the best kind of pizza. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They can call it a casserole, they can call it whatever they want, but Chicago knows what they're doing with hot dogs and pizza. Carne asada fries from Las Salsitas, which that is just French fries at this little taco place that is built in a burnt out wiener schnitzel where I work. And they're literally like, okay, we got this big bowl of fries, and they have the whole taco set up on this shelf, right? And they're like, what do you want to throw on top of this fries with fucking nacho cheese? And just you get your spicy chicken, your nacho cheese, your cilantro, your onions, your chipotle sauce, your ranch, lettuce. Like, this thing looks like garbage, but it is fucking delicious. Pitch Black Mountain Dew, which I don't drink soda anymore, but if I'm about to die, fuck it.
Yeah.
And Spiky Richard, which is just a 2 turnt tea mixed with Fast Eddie's lemonade vodka. And then we get to the ye old snack. I'm going to go with a half and half sandwich here. I'm going to go with a lobster roll and a Cubano with some kettle cooked Old Bay chips and Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Some dirt pie, which for you don't know what dirt pie is, it's like, I was going to say it's like pudding with crushed Oreos on it and gummy worms. Mm-hmm. I'm not a sweets guy at all. I fucking hate sweets, but like that's just childhood right there. And I'm gonna go with the Mickey's, because I got to drink an Irish hand grenade before I go out, and a shot of wild turkey, because that is the first hard liquor I ever had. My dad gave it to me when I was in like the 6th grade, because him and his buddies were drinking one. I was like, I want one, and he was like, sure, fuck it, here you go. And it was the worst thing I ever tasted, but I feel like as human beings, we're built to suffer. So if I'm going out, the last thing I'm going out on is a fucking horrible taste of fucking wild turkey.
Damn.
Eat your heart out, J-Dub. That's the longest list.
That was a lot.
That's good stuff, though, man. I love food. I love cooking. I love good food, so I'm sure there's things I left off.
Yeah, but I can't even imagine what you left off there. Okay, so let's go with my next question. So if you were to do a new podcast, what would you want it to be?
Ooh, there's two. There's two. One that I have spoken to Golden Jay about. It's like a dream podcast for me. It would be also a visual aid podcast because we could drop like how the Call Guys do YouTube with their episodes. I would do that too, but with a set. And I grew up going to the Video World, the rental place in Warsaw to get my videos and stuff. And I want to do a podcast based on that.
Yeah,
with that
best
aesthetic
porn selection in town.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I saw that section. I never got to go in there, but they'd let me rent rated R movies and not even bat an eye. So you go in there and you get your little paper tag off the fucking shitty little hook.
Yep.
The place kind of smelled like mold, possibly. You're like, it was a little dicey, but it was beautiful. Before Blockbuster commercialized it all and ran it all to hell. I would want to do a Video World podcast where we have a set where it looks like a counter from back in the 90s or late 80s, where you got two people as host, and they could be interchangeable like employees. They got their shirts on with the logo, they got the tapes behind them, and we just run down movies. Like just talk about like why you should rent this movie, why you shouldn't. Have somebody walk up at the beginning of the podcast, be like, I want to rent this, and then the person did what they did back then. You give it to a video clerk, and the video clerk's like, you sure you want this? Like, there's something better out there, or like, this is a great movie, and you should get this, and this is why. And I think that is my dream project for a podcast. I would absolutely do that one.
Yeah, that sounds like that'd be pretty good, actually.
And I might or might not already have logos that I had made up for that fucking like a year ago, and I already own a hat of it. Logan loves making designs. I have so many great artist friends, and my mind's constantly thinking about it. So I'll just be like, "Hey, I thought of this. Let's see what it would look like." And I work with Esteban. He's a fantastic artist, and he nails it every time. So
hey, that is great. So, what did you want to be when you were younger? I mean, what would like?
Oh, I got it.
People would ask you, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Logan?"
I wanted to be a tornado chaser because of Bill Paxton in Twisters.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be that since I literally did not abandon that until I moved to Texas, and there's not a lot of tornadoes around here, and I was just like, this isn't feasible now. Growing up in Indiana, I'd be like, maybe we could make it a living, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't, as a kid, you don't comprehend that Bill Paxton was also like went to school to be like a meteorologist and shit. I was just like, oh, I could buy a fucking truck and chase a tornado. That's what I want to do. Fucking, let's go for it. And that's what I always wanted to be. That was the longest want of a career, definitely in the history of Logan, was to be a tornado chaser for years and years. People are like, what do you want to be? I'm like, I'm gonna chase tornadoes.
Hey, I'm with you. I thought I'd always look like that'd be a cool job to have.
Bill Paxton made it look fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
Helen Hunt did it too. But my favorite, I don't know why, but
I'd have been more like Dusty. But,
I was about to say Dusty. Throughout my whole life, you know who I associate Dusty with? Golden Jay. Because when I was little, I knew Golden Jay, he had the long hair and everything, and I was like, he's like Dusty. Out here talking about the suck zone and like, we need food. That's such a good movie. That new one's about to drop, and I'm gonna go to fucking theaters. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I definitely will.
Give me a movie, any movie with a fucking tornado. I'll go. I don't care if it's good or bad. It's got tornadoes in it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny because that's a great segue to my next question. What are your true feelings on Golden Jay?
I don't think I even need to answer that. I think everybody knows. Like, I love the man to death. He's one of the few relatives I have that, well, I'll say it. It still takes me a second to get to it because that's not how I'm built. I never grew up with the whole "I love you" thing. Like they do over at the Golden House, they do they do the Little House on the Prairie shit. You know, everybody goes to bed. It's like, "Good night, John. I love you." "Good night, Chico. I love you." That's not how I grew up. So it took me a while to get used to that. So it definitely took me a while, but I definitely love the man. he's one of the few people that I know that can just talk as much as I talk. And like if me and him didn't have like bedtimes or stuff to do when we get on the mic, it just go for way too long. I think we've proven that multiple times on the other side where we look down and we're like, oh shit, we gotta wrap. It's always him that says we gotta wrap it up though. If you ever noticed it, he's like,
yeah,
I
know.
But I could just, like I said, he's definitely been, he's the most creative adult that I ever knew growing up. Like he was always doing something.
So what was your first memory of Jeremy?
I think the one that comes to my mind, it's hard because like he had, when I was a kid, he had the coolest car that I grew up in Atwood, so it's not a cool cars. You'd have to ask him, and he might be able to unmute and tell us. But he drove this car when I was a kid that had headlights on it that were gone during the day, and when you turned them on, they flipped up. And I can't remember what the fucking car was, but I was like, this is the coolest car ever. And there's a time where he came and got me from my school for whatever reason. All the kids were like, that's a fucking cool car. I'm like, that's my uncle. Yeah. He's in a band. He's got a volleyball court. All y'all's uncles suck.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Saturn? That had the flip up. That had that flip up headlights. It was a little 2-door, tan car. Yeah, a stick shift.
See, in my head, it was gold. It was never tan. It was gold in my head.
That's fair.
Like,
that's fair.
It's like it's gold. I mean, he was in a band. He had a cool car. He had long hair. He had a volleyball court. He had a pond. He's the first person I know that had a PlayStation. I mean, what's not cool about that? Also, he bought his kids all the fucking cool toys. I mean, they had Megazords and all that shit.
So he could play with them.
And small soldiers. I'd go over there. I'd play with them like a motherfucker. What's not to love?
Hey, absolutely.
Right, Frankie? What's not to love?
That's right. Exactly. I agree. Okay, so what's your favorite non-Golden Mojo podcast?
Oh man, if I'm being honest with you, I used to listen to podcasts all the time. I used to listen to everything Kevin Smith did, but I kind of had a falling out with Kevin Smith because he kind of he had a buddy before he was famous. If you ever watched Comic Book Men that he had back in the day, it was the guy he had running his comic book store named Walter. And Walter is I guess what they called it back in the day was straight edge, where you didn't fuck with drugs or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple years back, he pivoted with his comic book store. Like, we're going to start selling, it's legal now, so we're going to start selling weed products and stuff out of the store. And Walter was like, no, I'm not going to sell weed out of the comic book store I've been running for 30 years. And they had a falling out because of that. So I kind of dropped all those things with Kevin Smith, because that kind of like, you don't shit on your buddy. You know, that's not cool. I don't know that I really listen to anything outside the Golden Mojo anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've got one for like every day. I used to listen to the last podcast on the left. I've said it before, back when I was on the thing with Team Tejas, I listened to a podcast called Girls on Porn, which it was literally just two girls that talked about like ethical porn and the porn business. It was interesting as shit. But like, I don't know. They all kind of fell off. And now I listen to my call guys on Monday. Tuesdays, I listen to Golden Image when it's up, you know. I definitely miss the when he interviewed people and everything. I go back and listen to the fruit pie interview all the time, because that was a great interview. Wednesdays, I've got my two-sop, and every now and then I catch Guys with Issues. Thursdays I got you guys, which I love that podcast. And then like Friday right now I've got a hole in my heart, because you know I used to listen to like Nerds and stuff, and that's how I got started with the Golden Mojo podcast world, is because I used to just be a Nerds fan and write in every fucking week. So really, honestly, that's it for me right now. I don't have any other podcasts I really check out. If if I've finished my Golden Mojo one, I just go to music.
Okay, well that man, you're segueing right into my question.
Let's get it.
What's your favorite music? What are you listening to?
Oh, I am probably what people refer to as a genre slut because I'll listen to a little bit of anything. You know, if it sounds good, I'm in it. Honestly, if I had to, the first CD I ever bought was For Those About to Rock by AC/DC. That's the first CD I ever bought. Now, I had a CDs before because I'd get random fucking CD. My first CD ever was Total Hits 3, I think. It's just like a generic, like now what you call music, but Total Hits 3. My parents got me that for Christmas. But first CD I ever bought with my own money was For Those About to Rock by AC/DC. I will argue it that is the best AC/DC CD or album ever. I love Bon Scott, but that CD is just great. I can listen to it from start to finish. I'm campaigning for an episode on Golden 80s. Let me have it.
It'll happen.
I also want to cover some He-Man on Golden 80s, but I'll send you an email about that.
Okay.
But but it's like a tie as far as album go. There's 2 albums I can listen to front to back without skipping a song. And that's saying a lot because most albums you have one that you're just like, meh. That would be For Those About to Rock by AC/DC and Cardboard Castles by Watsky, which Chico knows all about. Me and him listened to that when it came out when I lived in Indiana. So it would definitely be those 2. But like I said, I'm all over the place. I'll listen to, I love 90s country. I give me some Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks. Give me some I Love This Bar by Toby Keith. I'm indiscriminate, and I think it drives Kayla crazy every now and then. But I'll listen to it all. I've got I think one of the songs I listen to the most by Golden Jay is Neighbor Girl from what was that? I think that was Guilt 4.
Guilt 4, yeah.
It pops up on my playlist from time to time. But like I said, I'm a genre slut. I'll listen to it all.
Oh yeah, I'm same way. I love all music, but yeah. For Those About to Rock, that is a great album, and we will definitely do that because
fantastic.
COD is one of my favorite songs.
COD is a fantastic song. The most slept on song by AC/DC is Let's Get It Up, and it's on that album, and it's a whole song about nothing but getting hard.
Yep.
It's just him singing about let's get it up, never gonna let it stop. I love it. You can't beat that riff, that they nail a riff that literally sounds like it's getting up, and you're like, how do you even do that? He's a fucking magician. Angus Young is a guitar wizard.
Oh yeah.
And he's still just hopping around like he's fucking 20. I don't know how he's doing it. The moment he stops hopping is the moment they put that man in a box. So I hope he can keep it up as long as possible. No pun intended.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see. We'll move on here. Number 13, superstition. Do you have any?
I'm not superstitious as far as like I'm not scared to walk under a ladder because sometimes you got to walk under a fucking ladder. If I was scared of black cats, I'd be fucked because I live with one. But like I definitely have like, does it count as a superstition when you know you locked a bathroom door at work, but you still rattled the door to fucking make sure nobody's gonna kick it in and see your fucking junk in your hand? Does that count, or does that just make me neurotic?
Well, no, because I'm the same way. I do it too. So,
I think a real like legitimate superstition I have is like I spend a lot of time in cemeteries. Is fucking emo as that sounds. I like to go visit people that I've laid to rest. I've got my cousin, my best friend. Recently, I found where Kayla's grandparents were buried because they have unmarked graves. Unfortunately, I like to go visit people. And I guess a superstition that I have for that is that my granny taught me is when you go visit somebody, you put a quarter down to buy time to talk to them. If you're Irish Catholic, you pay to get your time. So, I mean, I would say that's a superstition. I also, I try not to walk over people's graves, walk around it, et cetera, et cetera. But I would absolutely say I'm superstitious and a little neurotic.
That's okay.
I always got to rattle that doorknob, dog. I don't want to watch somebody kick in the door while I'm sitting on the couch.
Hey, I don't blame you. So we'll go into that. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear, I would honestly say, is outliving
somebody kicking
people.
in the door and seeing you.
Yes, that's true. It's not. You're not wrong there. But it's just
no.
that's
The
just
only thing, the only thing I could think of is, you ever watch that Saturday Night Live bit with Pete Davidson with the Scream deal? Like, what's your biggest fear? He goes, dick falling off.
Yeah, no, I fucking love Pete Davidson.
Sorry, I just had to cut in.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Honestly, I would. It's outliving people I care about. I've had to do it with. I've mentioned it before. My one of the first friends I met when I moved here, unfortunately, died in a car accident. He was here in Texas. They closed down. You can't buy booze past a certain amount of time, but we literally live pissing distance from Louisiana, where you could go buy hard liquor from a Walmart whenever the fuck you want. He died on a beer run where he wasn't even the person driving, and he was the only person buckled up. And then just a few months later, my cousin died in a drinking and driving accident. And like, it's just it's a scary thought thinking of outliving people you care about. And so I'm definitely gonna go with that as especially as a father and somebody that loves their partner more than anything in the world. Like, I don't. That is what keeps me up at night. Like, when it's Logan's time to go, I'm ready. Let's fucking do this thing. I hope I don't fucking haunt somewhere stupid like a fucking burnt out Kmart. But like, I'm ready to go when it's my time to go. But like, I just don't want anybody to go before me that I care about. And that's just an unreal expectation, you know. I would literally consider my grandfather my best friend. He's 80. He's turning 81 this month. It's one of those things. Unless like I get hit by a bus, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
it's still scary as shit. So.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Okay, number 15. Marvel or DC?
Oh, DC all day long. Suck it, Colton. Listen here. This man likes to throw shade at DC, but he's barely cracked a DC comic book. Like, you can't judge it on what they do with the movies and the TV shows and whatnot, because like, they let any motherfucker touch that stuff nowadays. Best thing DC ever did live action wise, Michael Keaton is Batman. 112%. Michael Keaton nailed it as Batman. When they lost Michael Keaton and he left because he read a script and he's like, nah, that's not Batman. And you know what they did? They put Val Kilmer in the suit, and then they put George Clooney in the suit. And then Schumacher slapped nips on Batman, and that was not cool. We don't need nipples on the suit. But comic book wise, I grew up a Marvel fan. That's one of the few things nerdy my dad let me do. There used to be this bookstore in Warsaw where he would go pick up his Carpenter magazines and his truck magazines, and I'd go with him, and eventually he let me snag some comic books, and I grabbed a Sonic the Hedgehog comic book and a Ghost Rider comic book. And the only reason that happened is because he saw me pick up a magazine that had a flaming skeleton in a leather jacket riding a motorcycle, and he's like, that's cool. Get that. And I'm a diehard Ghost Rider fan to this day. I've got it. That's my first tattoo I ever got, was Ghost Rider tattooed on my arm. I got that the day I turned 18. Took 8 hours in a chair with a guy that smoked way too fucking much. He kept taking breaks. And the next day I had to go update my driver's license. And up till like last year, my driver's license picture was a picture of Logan with the sleeve ripped off his Cajun Cookery work shirt, letting his tattoo aired out. My hair's all fucked up, and I am hungover like a motherfucker. Just sitting at DMV like this. Just one sleeve gone. But I grew up loving Marvel, and I was just like, Superman's lame. He wears his underwear on the outside. But they fucked up Spider-Man for me. I had a subscription to where the comic book would come to me in the mailbox, which, hindsight, if you collect comic books, bad idea, because the post office does not give a shit about your comic books. Let me tell you. But I read Spider-Man, and they did this stupid shit with Spider-Man to where Marvel almost lost all their money because people just dropped their subscriptions left and right. It was right after Civil War happened in Marvel Comics, and Spider-Man put his identity out there. He's like, I'm Peter Parker. I'm on the side of Iron Man. And don't listen to the Iron Man apologists like my Uncle Jeremy. Iron Man was on the wrong side of Civil War. but they did that. They unveiled Spider-Man to everybody, and lo and behold, people are like, oh, I know who you are, so I'm gonna fucking kill you. So Kingpin hires a sniper to take out Peter Parker. His spider sense goes off, and he's like, oh, quick, I better move my wife, Mary Jane, out of the fucking way, which he's married to Mary Jane. It took forever, but they happened. He moves Mary Jane out of the way, and the sniper bullet hits Aunt May's old ass. 87-year-old Aunt May. And so fucking Spider-Man, who's, like I said, his aunt's like 87 at this point. She's old as shit. She dies. She's dying because she caught a fucking mean case of sniper bullet. And he goes and makes a deal with Marvel's version of the devil, Mephisto. He was like, listen, take it all back. I don't give up my identity. Save Aunt May. And the devil's like, all right. And what I want is your marriage. So he gave up his smoking ass model wife that fans have been campaigning for forever for him to be with. Great relationship. He gave it up. He was like, yes, you can have my marriage. We were never together. Just take it all back to save his 87-year-old aunt, who was going to die 2 years later anyways from old age. It was awful. So I dropped my subscription. I checked out some DC comics, fell in love with Green Lantern. I'm going to expose my titty real quick, but I have a Green Lantern tattoo right here, too. If you're on the Patreon, you're welcome. I read some Green Lantern. I read some Batman, and I was like, holy shit, this writing is way better. The characters are way more likable. They don't do this bullshit all the time. And so it's DC. But unfortunately, I don't really read much of comics at all anymore because they reset constantly. They're like, it used to be Hellblazers, which is John Constantine. One of my favorite DC things they ever did was an ongoing series from the early 70s all the way up to like 3 years ago. Never stopped. Was just constantly running. And when I dipped out of comic books is when they're like, okay, this series that has never been reset. DC had a bunch of like resets where they went back to #1 issues for everything. They never reset John Constantine's Hellblazer. They were like, he's a magic dude, this and that. He never changes. He was aging with his comic books. He was getting old. Like, we're never going to fuck with this. And they're like, we're rebooting John Constantine. And I was like, I'm out. We done. So comic books is like everything. It changed too much for me. So I just don't really muff with it now. Now I just watch what they do to it in cinema. If that, I don't remember the last time I went to the theaters for a Marvel movie. The best thing Marvel has done recently is they rebooted not rebooted, but they continued the 1997 animated X-Men show. It's fantastic. Go watch it if you haven't. But it's DC. That's a long-winded way of saying it's DC.
No, that's great. I'm just stuck on this whole Spider-Man thing and Aunt Meg.
Yeah,
I'm like, I love my aunt, but hell, you're 87 years old.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Fuck off.
I was like, I'm sorry you caught a bullet because of a decision I made, but like, you're 87. Yeah, no, like, you just fucking move on. It was the stupidest shit ever. Just be like, grieve, go beat some ass, deal with it. Don't fucking sell your relationship. Like, they backpedaled on like 20 years of Spider-Man building character just for that moment. And like, there was a crisis they had. That was right before they sold to Disney. They were like, we fucked up, and they try to fix it. And they're just, people are like, no, fuck you. You ruined Spider-Man. No shit. I'm gonna go read Green Lantern. And that's exactly what I fucking went and did.
All right. Okay. We got just a couple more questions here. Okay. What's your favorite thing from the 80s?
Horror movies. The 80s is unfuckable when it like you cannot fuck with the 80s in horror movie. The 80s, I gotta rephrase that. The 80s is fuckable when it comes to horror movies. It's not unfuckable. The 80s is the hot chick at the bar.
Yeah. You
had Friday the 13th. You had Halloween. You had, all these massive franchises. You got your Nightmare on the Elm Street. All these great franchises that are still up and kicking to this day. You got the Chopping Mall. Let me tell you what, like, 80s knew how to capitalize on this little tiny rectangle piece of cardboard that you slap a VHS tape in. Like, we need to sell this movie. Let's get some fantastic art on this box that will sell it. Chopping Mall, you would rent that movie, not know anything about it, thinking it was something completely different. It had a severed hand holding a bag. You're like, there's some crazy guy in here chopping up people with an axe or something. You rent it, pop it in your VHS player. It's fucking robots fucking killing peoples with laser guns. Ain't nobody getting chopped.
Nope.
Not a single motherfucker got chopped in that movie. Still a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
You got stuff like Maximum Overdrive, which is just a cocaine-fueled Stephen King project. Fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. People want to come at me with like,
that's a great movie.
People want to be like, oh, Babadook or Midsummer. Like, go fuck yourself and your weird fucking woke ass horror. I want robots killing people because a lightning hit them in the wrong way. Give me a possessed puppet. Give me some weird perverted fucking janitor that got burnt up to haunt your dreams. That's what I'm all about.
Absolutely, I agree. Okay, I'm gonna end it the same way you end stuff. You got a question for me?
Oh, Frankie, that's the one thing I did not think about. Ooh, give me a second here. Smell this over. Frankie's taking a hit of his Mountain Dew. He pulled the label off. No, the label's still there. I hadn't had a Mountain Dew in so long, man. That's one of those zero ones too.
Yep.
Frankie. If you could be on any Golden Mojo podcast, what is your first pick outside the Golden 80s? Who do you want to do a show with? Who do you want to be on the show with? And why is it me?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. But I've gotten to do a couple of those, so I got to go with somebody I haven't done.
Oh, I'm talking permanent residence, Frankie.
Oh, permanent resident.
Permanent
me and you. Oh, definitely me and you doing something. The fuck boys or something. I don't know.
Fuck boys.
Because both of us drop the F-bomb constantly.
Fuck boys. I think that's a whole different podcast.
Well, yeah, that could be.
You're right.
Boys. You're right. That's the only thing I could come up with. Fuck.
I would settle with me and you being on what was it? What was you guys call it? Frankie's Corner.
Frankie Corner.
Yeah. I would sit in on Frankie's Corner 110%.
But I would love to be on an episode of Two Sop with J-Dub because she cracks me up. She is absolutely hilarious. I go delivering pizzas and driving off the road laughing,
I just think like I delivered pizzas in my youth too. I worked at Pizza Pasta and Wings where every now and then I would have to deliver a pizza. And that's a trippy job, man.
Yeah.
You meet some fucking characters.
Oh, you do.
There was
I like doing it though.
We talked about comic books earlier. There's this big convention in Houston called George R. Brown Convention Center. They do a comic palooza every year. And there was this guy that wrote a comic book about his experience as being a pizza delivery man. And the comic book was called Turbo Fucking Pizza. This dude was a pizza man in the 90s where it was like, we'll get that pizza to you 30 minutes or less, or it's on us, or like all that shit. Where they literally had to stop doing that because the amount of pizza guys getting in accidents and shit.
Yeah.
And there's a commercial that will stick with me forever, and I think it's one of the best advertisements I've ever heard in my life. And it was like, Turbo Fucking Pizza, come to the George R. Brown Convention Center. Brown, because you'll shit your pants. That's stuck with me for like 2 decades at this point.
That's great. Now, the one thing I will say about pizza delivery, is the porn industry lied.
Absolutely. Porn industry always lies.
Never once has that ever happened to me.
I mean,
no good-looking woman's ever answered the door in her little negligee and tried to seduce me.
I agree with you. I've never had a plumber come over and offer to lay some pipe. So, I mean, the porn industry's a lie, man.
It is. It's all lies.
If you could make your own podcast, Frankie, what do you think it would be?
My own podcast?
Your own podcast.
Oh my goodness. I would have to know a lot about one particular subject to do that, and I know very little about anything. I just know a little about everything.
You don't have to know that. I mean, Joe Rogan don't know shit about shit, and he's got one of the biggest podcasts out there. He just fucking talks.
That's true. I think I would just want to do something to where I was just talking to people, just an interview show, where I'm interviewing people, talking to them, learning about them. That would be what I'd want to do.
Unscripted podcasting's the best.
Yeah, that's the best.
When you can just sit there and shoot the shit with your buddies.
Oh yeah,
it's peak.
That's why I love doing our What's Your Damage episodes on Golden 80s.
I agree. The same with us. Chiller Fillers were my favorite episodes. Like, or I also got to the way ours are set up. There was episodes where I got to sit there and just listen to people's stories and like take little jabs and stuff at it. Like where I don't have to read a script is where I'm the most comfortable. 110%.
Yeah, scripts aren't any fun.
That's why I don't get when people shit on banter, because banter is my favorite part of podcasts, man. I like hearing people talk about their lives. I like people riffing on each other. I just dig it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I guess maybe let's bring in Golden Jay and we can wrap this up.
He wants to saunter on over here. Listen, Frankie, I appreciate you coming in here and interviewing me. I wouldn't have it any other way, sir.
Yeah, hey.
Let's get that episode for those about to rock.
Yeah.
Scheduled out. We'll do it.
We will do it.
It takes Golden Jay a second to get up. Those bones are old.
You gotta go and get the fucking shoot. I just want to point out, and it wasn't pointed out, for those of you that are on the Patreon and watching the full stream video, Logan is actually in his Frankie Vegas crop top.
I made a promise. I kept with it.
Absolutely.
So you got Frankie Vegas crop top, and you got a little bit of a muffin top going on there. I mean, come on, man. It's just sexy, and he knows it.
Listen, the shorts are a little tight, man. I hit the gym. I do walking.
But I appreciate you wearing the shirt, though.
Oh, I love this shirt. That's why I made it.
Yeah.
Got Frankie Vegas, and what happens in Frankie stays in Frankie. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, what happens in Frankie needs to stay in Frankie as long as he's on the other side of this desk. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
But for y'all to see the proof of me being in my midriff shirt, you have to hop on the United States of Paranormal Patreon to catch that sweet, sweet video.
Absolutely. And for those who have signed up, we appreciate you guys so much. So
absolutely.
I hope you're loving the content. And
I don't have a Patreon, but if you want to send me money, I will take it.
Frankie's all about it. Send that money. But yeah, we've had you guys did a pretty good job here, chit chat back and forth. A lot of these stories I knew from Logan, so I mean, we have talked about a lot of this stuff in the past, but yeah, it was a lot of fun to kind of get Frankie's version of Logan. So
it's hard to find new details on me because I don't shut up. I talk about everything.
So I told him, I said, man, he was concerned that he was going to, muss something up or hit a soft spot. And I'm like, nah. I said, if you get to something he doesn't want to talk about, he just won't talk about it. And it'll be just fine. Yeah.
He wouldn't talk about his paranormal experience.
I'm on a paranormal show and I ain't ever talked about it. So ain't nobody going to cash that check in. If you want to hear about that, you might have to get that out of other people that were involved in it, which one of those is my brother-in-law. So,
no, I would never force anybody to talk about something they didn't want to talk about. So,
absolutely. Yeah. So good job. This interview thing was pretty amazing. It's been pretty. Sorry about that. I hit a button on my phone. I'm DJing a wedding this weekend, so as you guys are doing this, I was working on some of the set lists for the reception for the party. So yeah, I had something on my phone here that I was reading down their playlist. So, oops, accidentally hit that. Fuck, shit, damn hell. Anyway, yeah, so the interview things have gone really, really well. I think people have liked them. We'd love to know for sure if you like them at UnitedStatesParanormal@gmail.com. We'd love to hear you guys hit us up and let us know if you liked all the interviews. The call guys loved it so much they've asked Logan to come do their podcast.
If they give me a fucking date, I'd do it.
Well, you guys got to get through the Rotten Ranger stuff first.
I'm looking forward to that,
which is coming up real quick. So, looking forward to that. Of course, on Golden Mojo ENT. .com, the Rotten Rangers t-shirts are up there, so you can, if you enjoy the shows about Power Rangers and what the call guys are doing, then you can go check out this new t-shirt, which Logan put a lot of time and effort into, and they look really good. And of course, they'll be wearing the specialty shirts, which are not on the website
because they're too goddamn expensive.
They are too expensive. But yeah, I'm looking forward to you guys all dressed up in your fucking Power Rangers, Rotten Ranger shirts. It's going to be fucking cool as shit.
I'm ready for it.
It's
been a little while since I've been on there with the call guys. I'm ready.
Oh, has it been a minute? How long has it been?
Fuck, I can't remember the last episode I did. It was before last year ended, so it's been months.
Me and Chico just sat down and did a full-blown breakdown of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action that... who was it to put it out? Was it Netflix, I think?
Yeah, it was Netflix that did it. Yeah. And it was, I wasn't ready for Colton to shit on that for an hour and 30 minutes. So, you know.
I was real happy with it when we got done with it because I thought we covered a lot of stuff in that one. So get a chance, go back and check out the Avatar episode on the call guys. Yeah, and I know that you said in your interview tonight you're kind of missing. You have a hole in your heart on Fridays. Murd Nerds. I am working on that. It is a lot of work to get that up and running, and we have some special guests lined up who are doing episodes. Going to do some episodes with us too. It's just a matter of getting everything rolling. And it's just been a lot of stuff going on that I haven't been able to put the time and energy into getting the Murners, but it is coming back. I promise.
You'll have a Golden Mojo show for every day of the week.
Well, we're going to do that in blocks. So you're going to get like 5 or 6 episodes per, and then you can just binge those. You can binge them every Friday if that would fill
That's
your
what I'm
heart
going to do.
up
I'm going to
better.
save them for Fridays. Where I have that hole filled.
But, so we got episodes coming up, stories and evidence coming up on our regular United States Paranormal on Wednesdays. They come out pretty good. I might have fucked up reading an email. It just sounded, I don't know. I'm have to go back and listen to it. And I'll definitely keep it in, but it's one of those deals that as I was reading it, I was like, you sound like a blundering fucking idiot.
That's the worst part is having to listen to yourself, and you do that every day. You got to edit and all that jazz. So
yeah, I listen to myself all the time, going, "You are a tool." But we ended up doing it in 2 parts. We did part 1, which is the stories, which is, do you remember everybody when I asked for everybody to send in voice clips?
Yep.
So we played the voice clips, and this is all in the future from where this episode is going to come out, or maybe it's the past. I don't know exactly. Time frame's a little bit different for me, but the second episode is going to be evidence, all from Southern Grace Distillery that Zach sent in, and the girls will get their first reaction to it, right on the show. So, and that one turned out really good. I was really excited. Is that going to be
on a regular episode, or is that a Patreon?
That's a regular episode. Yeah.
Nice.
So you'll get full video. You'll get the video clips and stuff like that in the Patreon, but you'll have all audio on the regular show. So, what else we got coming up? Kane was supposed to be with us for that first episode. We had some mix up in some times. So he's going to come back in a later episode, but we got ISO coming in to do an episode with us coming up. Of course, we're going to get back to the Battle of the States. I know Mason has said he's wants to come on and do one with us, so you'll have 4 stories per state as we battle it out for the scariest story coming up in the future. What else we got going on, buddy?
Ooh, what buddy you're referring to here?
You. Yeah, not Frankie's on Golden 80s. On Golden 80s, what do we got coming up on Golden 80s? Our 1 year is going to be coming out. Yeah, we've been doing the Golden 80s for a whole year.
What are we doing for a year? What do we figure out? I know
we haven't figured out anything
yet.
But we're going to record that next week, and we haven't figured it out yet. So, we'll do what we do best at Golden 80s, and we're going to wing it.
It's fair. That's fair. The winging it works, man.
Make it up as we go along.
That's absolutely. But
you wing it, and you end up with stuff like Vital Idol.
Oh God. Listen, man.
Hey, I can only apologize for that so much.
That's fair. It's fair. I sat outside on my porch with multiple people, and I was like, they're like, "Why are you listening to this?" I gotta know.
And now you know, and
yeah,
now you know. So I remember distinctly walking in after a night of recording. We always, when we walk out of the studio, we're like, "Well, what are we doing next recording?" We have a list, and we always try to go after it. Frankie's got it on his phone, and he's kind of flying through it. And he goes, "You know what? My daughter said something about Billy Idol. And he goes, let's do Vital Idol. And I'm thinking, oh, Vital Idol was like a greatest hits. That'd be fucking cool.
It's not.
And then I listened to it, and I'm like, God, we should have picked Rebel Yell.
They're all like 8 minutes long. It's so bad.
It is. Yeah.
I still enjoyed the episode thoroughly, though.
It was a fun episode. A fun episode. What else we got coming up on Golden 80s? I know that we've talked about bringing AC back. With another special guest. Are we putting that together? Are you working on that?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Got to just figure out a date and all that with one of my wrestling buddies. He's got his own podcast.
Right.
So we're going to talk a little Roddy Piper.
I love Piper. Let me tell you, Logan is back into wrestling in a big bag way ever since WrestleMania. So
really,
I'm slowly. It took me a couple of weeks to figure out what the fucking schedule is and where I can watch it, because it's a nightmare. I don't know who is running stuff over at the WWE, but they're like, Peacock is where you watch all the premium events, like your pay-per-views, live, free. It's on. If you have Peacock, you get to watch them for free. But they don't have like the episodes of like Raw or SmackDown as they come out. You got to go over to Hulu to watch those the day after they air. It's like you got to go everywhere. But I finally figured it out, and I'm keeping up with it. And my the person I like right now, if you're not current, I'm sorry, but like I love LA Knight. He's exactly. Frankie knows. I just got a tank top that's got the on it. It's the LA Knight. The dude is the new spokesperson for Slim Jim, like Macho Man used to be. And when they throw commercials up, the commercials start with Macho Man being on TV, being like, "Oh yeah," and then it goes to LA Knight, and he's like, "Let me talk to you." Yeah, and he's like, "You can't beat this flavor," and just bites into it. Oh, I love it, man. He's got that old feeling to him. I love LA Knight.
I'm a little out of date on my wrestling.
It's what? It's
good.
So
much.
It's wrestling, man. I mean, the flavor changes, but the core of the recipe is still the same.
Right. Yeah,
I feel like people threw better punches back in the day, but outside of that, it's still entertaining as shit to watch. Rey Mysterio's old ass is still out there doing crazy ass flips with his whole 4'5" having ass.
Do you think that's the original Rey Mysterio?
Oh, it is. And now his son's wrestling. It's the same kid that back in the day, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero did a custody match for this kid. And this kid's wrestling now, and he's a shit heel. Nobody fucking likes him, and Rey's fighting him. And Rey gets on the mic.
And he looks like Eddie Guerrero.
He does. He even got the shitty mustache now. And Rey got on the mic the other day and was like, "I wish I would have lost that custody match."
Wow. I loved Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, he's so fantastic.
I don't know why.
You can't beat him clocking somebody with a fucking chair when the ref's not looking, then tossing the chair to him. And then laying on the ground, and the ref being like, "You're out of here! You hit him with the chair!" And then Eddie's just like got one eye open, laying on the mat. Oh, you can't fucking beat that. It was great. Him and China together were awesome as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was exposed way too young to China and a Playboy, and I will never be right. Was not prepared for that.
Did you see that at my house? Because I think I own that.
No, my dad owned that one too. I think a little bit everybody owned that one. Everybody was curious, and then everybody fucking regretted it. afterwards. They're like, some things are
I had a friend at
unspoiled.
work bring it in to me so I could see it.
Yeah, just
not that they're gonna go buy it.
Yeah, no. Some things are better left unspoiled.
Imagination, boys and girls. Imagination.
Just leave it to it. That's fine.
That's right.
I'm loving wrestling right now. I'm glad to be back in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is. I need to get to a Frankie match one of these days. I keep every time he has, because he only does one like once a month. Yeah, only once a month. And it seems like every time he does one, something's going on here. Or my last one was the toilet deal. Oh my God, that was. Let's remodel the bathroom in one fucking day. That sounds like a bright idea.
I'm telling you, Frankie needs to bring the pizza delivery guy into the ring. That needs to be his gimmick. There needs to be a match going on, and Frankie shows up with the pizza, and he's like, "I've got a pizza for," and when they lean in to look, he just fucking clocks him with the pizza and starts beating some ass. That'd be fantastic.
Hot
and ready.
Yeah,
I think that should be a thing.
That should be a thing.
Is there any way that you can like get the ball cap down over your face and be like the sunglasses on, and so nobody can really tell it's you, and then you rip it open, you got your Frankie Vegas shirt on, you're like, "Fuck you!"
Every time you do it too, you gotta come in there with one of those bullshit names people would order pizza under back in the day. Be like, "I've got a pizza for Icy Wiener," and they'd be like, "Oh, what? Icy Wiener?" Or what was the good one? Oh, I can't remember. There's so many good old prank ones that work so good.
True. Get a little Peter Dragon going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you seen that bit on TikTok or wherever where the guy does that, orders like fucking sandwiches or coffee or something, and then the barista like yells out his name?
Oh, jeez, man.
Oh, yeah.
I used to prank phone call people all the fucking time as a kid. Kids don't do that nowadays. They'll find you.
Yeah, they will. They'll hunt your ass down.
Oh yeah.
They fucking star 69 you.
I'm trying to remember the go-to one from Silicon Valley, but I can't fucking remember it.
It's terrible.
But no, Frankie, the pizza guy thing's got to go to wrestling. It's gotta, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to work that in there somehow.
Something to think about, I guess. I don't know. I don't really get to pick and choose gimmicks. So.
Fuck you. Tell them you're picking what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, you don't understand. I am a host of Golden 80s podcast. I'll do what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I say all the time.
They go there at the fucking door. You can walk out of.
That's what I'm going to do, apparently. All right, man. Let's wrap this shit up.
All right.
Logan, always good to see you, buddy.
It's always good to see you guys, too. Frankie, I don't see you enough. Golden Jay, I see you all the goddamn time.
I know, but you love me and you know it.
I do. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we'll have the outro, but go check out UnitedStatesParanormal.com. Go check out the merch page. We got a lot of great stuff. We got the new Celestial Stag one up on with J-Dub riding the stag. Of course,
say it right.
Celestial Stag. Is that close?
Yeah, it's not J-Dub.
It's not J-Dub. It doesn't. I don't even come close. Parafeet, obviously, and all of the other great pieces of artwork that we have on there. Go get yourself a new T-shirt. It's summertime. You can get a tank top, man. You need some tank tops.
Absolutely. And if you have a design that we have that's not in a piece of clothes or product that you wish it to be in, we can make it work. Just let me know.
Yeah. UnitedStatesParanormal@gmail.com. Of course, you can always get your Frankie Vegas t-shirts at Golden Mojo ENT. Yeah. You can have one that is similar to what Logan is wearing right now. You too, Mason, can own one of those.
I want to see it, Mason.
Oh my God. That would be the best thing ever.
Frankie Vegas shirt.
But anyway, yeah, go check it out. GoldenMojoENT.com. Just click on the merch store there, and all the podcasts are listed. So, all right, man.
All right.
Ready to get out of here?
Yeah, take us out, bud.
For all those listening out there in podcast land, there's no reason to worry about what happens when you're gone, because me, Gold J, and Francis Las Vegas are here waiting for you on the other side. And I got a little side note for you. Is your refrigerator running? This is Mike Hunt.
Oh, it's later.
See ya.
Catch you later.
Thank you for listening to The United States of Paranormal. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com or at any other of our social media pages. At Twitter at TOSOPPOD, at Instagram at The United States of Paranormal, or Facebook at The United States of Paranormal, or YouTube at The United States of Paranormal 1795.
Please check out our other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network. The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, Indiana Chiefs Fans, The Golden 80s, Murd Nerds, and A Quart of Books and Booze.
And if you have a location you would like us to check into or a creepy story that you would love to tell us, please email us at theunitedstatesofparanormal@gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen.